I'm always looking for different software I can use to edit my photos on, and I came across Dehancer Desktop, which is basically Dehancer's take on Lightroom. You can edit multiple file types such as JPEG and also RAW, which I always shoot in RAW, and there's lots of presets that emulate film, and I love the look of film, so I definitely wanted to give this a try. What's good about this as well is it's its own standalone app. It's not a plugin for other apps, it's its own thing, so all you need to download is just this software. So let's have a look at how I edit these photos. So straight away it does look quite similar to Lightroom. You've got all your photos up in a library. You basically just look through all your folders and then that's when you can access your photos. The first one I'm going to actually edit is going to be this one, which straight away you can see it is pretty underexposed. When I was shooting this it was dark, and to be fair though, this is going to be a good test for Dehancer because we're going to try and make it brighter as well as apply different effects, and you'll see that Dehancer actually does quite a good job at it. So of course this is a raw image, so first thing I'm going to do is look at the raw settings at the very top. So what I'm going to do first to bring the exposure up is I'm going to adjust the pre-gain, which this digitally pre-amplifies the signal to compensate for underexposure, which obviously this is quite underexposed. And pre-gain is a lot better than exposure compensation, as pre-gain works with your raw file, so you get a lot less noise. So let's bring this up. Straight away, that is a lot better. As you can see, we do have some noise. We are going to apply grain, and I am actually going to make this photo black and white, so the noise should kind of blend in with the grain. So the noise should hopefully look like grain. So as you can see on the left now, we have lots of different presets. There's a lot of them. The preset that I'm going to use for this photo is Africa Scala 200X, which is right here, because of course I want to go for that black and white look. And again, zooming in, now you can see the noise does look a lot like grain. We've not even, I'm just going to double check. Okay, so film grain was enabled by default with this preset. The presets do come with a lot of different things altered, so I've disabled it just to show you that the noise does kind of look like film grain, but obviously by adding film grain it does actually sharpen up the image. We'll come back to film grain though, because that's not what we want to adjust yet. There's a lot that I want to do before. So we'll go from top to bottom. Obviously we can adjust white balance, but we're working with a black and white image, so it's not going to be much of a difference if I adjust the white balance. Pre-gain, I'm kind of happy with that. I'm going to actually bring it up a little bit more. We will adjust exposure a little bit further on as well. But next is crop. I'm not going to bother with crop because I'm happy with how the photo is looking. However, you can crop it. You can also adjust the different aspect ratios, but I'm happy with how it is as it is, so I'm going to leave that. Next one is source, which straight away what I want to adjust is exposure compensation to bring that up even more, which that is way too high, so this is just going to be like a minimal adjustment. That's a lot better. You can adjust temperature, tint, defringe as well. I'm not going to touch any of that for this photo. Next is the film profile, which obviously we selected it on the left side of the screen. You can also select it in this tab. Like I said, I've already selected it. You can adjust the push and pull as well. So if you like the effect but also like how the photo originally looks, you can kind of dial it down and meet in the middle. But I'm going to leave all of that as it is. I'm not going to touch that. Next one is film developer. So let's enable it, and there's a few extra things that you can adjust in this, such as the contrast boost. By default it's trying to give me a bit more contrast. I'll try and put that back to 0. There we go. You can also do color separation and color boost, but because it's a black and white image we're not really working with color, so we're not too bothered about it. I'm not going to have any of these settings on for film developer. I'm going to make some more changes in some further settings. Now film compression lets you fine tune the redistribution of the highlights. I quite like how it's looking now. If for example I wanted the flowers to pop even more, so for example tonal range is down, if I was to bring that up then you would see the flowers go slightly darker. I quite liked where it was at. I could push it all the way down and now it's popping a little bit more. It is quite subtle, but I'm liking how that's looking. It's just subtle changes that add up. The next one is expand, which lets you control the black and the white points. This one's quite a good one to do. Depending on what type of film you're wanting to emulate, obviously you could bring it down a little bit because some film can be like that. Obviously I've done that a little bit too much. I'm going to leave it about there. And then the white points, again you can bring them up and down. That's looking good to me. Next is print, which is basically the print profile. So if you were to basically print it onto some photo paper, these are the different options you've got. At the minute it's on linear. I'll scroll through them so you can see the different effects they have. That one is just not for me. This one's kind of cool, it's quite edgy. We're not going to go for an edgy look on this photo, so I'm going to leave it back at linear. Next is color head, which you can adjust the tones and colors in the shadows, highlights, mid-tones throughout the whole image. It's a black and white photo. If you do adjust some of these, it does actually affect slightly how the black and white looks. I'm happy with how it is, so I'm just going to leave that. Then we're on to film grain, which you have a lot to choose from. You can go anything from 8mm, there's different ISOs as well. Obviously, the lower the millimeter, the bigger the grain is going to be. The higher the ISO, the more grain you're going to get as well. I'm going to go with probably about 35mm and we'll try 500. I'm liking how that's looking. It does also bring the sharpness up as well. Like if I disable the grain, it just looks a bit softer. My camera doesn't have the most amount of megapixels, so adding a bit of grain makes it appear a bit sharper as well. Next is halation, which this is enabled as part of the Africa Scala 200X preset. Halation will mostly affect the edges of highlights. So we do have different presets to choose from. We can dial it in ourselves if we want, or we can go with these different presets. 8mm is going to be more of an effect than 65mm, and then no remjet has even more of an effect than just the standard one as well. So as you can see, it's making the flowers kind of glow. It's almost like I've got a Pro Mist filter on. It does look pretty cool, so actually I'm going to probably dial it down a little bit and go with that. It depends what effects you're wanting, because obviously now it's making the flowers glow. It looks cool, so I'm going to have that on. Next is film damage, which is just emulating obviously damage that you might get in film, which might be from any dust that's on the film. So there's loads of different ways that you can adjust this. Again, there's different presets. You'd probably get more of an effect on the 8mm compared to the 65 and 70. You can also refresh it, so if you don't like how it looks, hit refresh and then you get a new variation of this effect. I'm going to leave it off because I want it to look quite clean. Bloom, I just realised that I missed bloom as well, so again this is very similar where 8mm you're going to get more of an effect, and then you go to 65 you get less of an effect. You can also dial it in yourself if you go for custom. What I'm going to do is actually dial it down a little bit, so if I just go on impact, this is pretty much the overall effect of it, so I'm going to dial that down a bit because I don't want it to be too distracting. Next is overscan, which includes the outline of the film, and you might want this effect, you might not. You can go from Super 8 all the way up to Ultra Panavision. It's got all the sizes in between. Let's say that we wanted to go with Super 35. At the minute actually the position of the image is perfect, but let's say that it's not. You can offset, for example, the Y, and then it adjusts where the image sits in the overlay, but I'm not too bothered about this effect, so I'm going to turn that off. Next is vignette, which we do actually have a bit of a vignette on. What we're doing is slightly darkening the edges of the image. You can bring the exposure further down, adjust the size, the feather of it, the aspect ratio, the positioning. I'm going to leave it as it is. And then the last one is the output, which is just the overall strength of all of these changes that you've made. So for example, you could just completely turn it down, and this is back to the original image. It's only including all of these effects, so not crop and not the raw setting changes. If I wanted this effect to be applied to every single image, what I could do is right click, copy edits, and then I would just select the photos that I want the edits to be applied to, and then right click and then paste edits to 4 images. Now all 4 of these images are edited the exact same way, so that's pretty cool. Straight away there'd be a few tweaks that I'd want to make, maybe, but actually I quite like how this is looking as well, so I'm just going to export that as well. For this last photo I've gone with ADOX Color Implosion 100 and turned up halation, turned up bloom, really crushed the blacks, and it looks kind of cool. If you wanted to try Dehancer, make sure you use the code JamieNormanDOP for an extra 10% off all of their products. I'm definitely going to be giving Dehancer more of a go on many more projects to come, and I'm curious what you think. If you've tried it at all, let me know what you think, any of your favourite presets, because I'm hoping this could maybe be a replace for Lightroom. But let me know what you think in the comments. If there's any requests that you've got, let me know. I'll work on more videos for you. There's a lot more videos to come. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.